let's go to damn line number 2. Oh, I could say they're my favorite, but they're all my favorites. Okay, damn line number 2.
Yeah.
Parenting should be child-centered, so forget your own stupid needs. This is the quote. Could you pull that up, Brian? This is genius. Everywhere society is pressuring the parent with the message, forget your own needs. If you really love your children, you should sacrifice everything for the sake of giving your child the best of everything. But remember, our consumer society isn't driven by the desire for your child's psychological health. It's driven by a market that thrives when you buy stuff. This is genius. And correct me if I'm wrong. This was what I think. It's almost an overcorrecting of like the neglected children who, the latchkey kids who had to go watch TV. So then it's like, well, that's neglect. Now we have to swing the pendulum way too far to the other side and make these kids the center of a universe, even though once we send them out into the universe is indifferent. And that must create some sort of schism, right?
Yeah. And I think, I think there's 2 parts to this. One is that there's this, that we all kind of had this cultural wake up to psychology and the effect that parenting might have on children. And look, now we're all going to therapy, and some of that's about our parents. And this, in the 70s and the 80s, the 90s, it just more and more. And as we did that, we all basically went, I'm not going to do that to my kids. And we had a model for boundaries that were always paired with negation, shaming, spankings, yelling. So conflict in terms of setting those boundaries was paired with bad. So we were like, conflict bad, problems bad. Let's throw that out and let's just give of ourselves if we pour everything in. And that the second part of that paradigm is it's basically a medical model that doesn't look at a system of interaction, that doesn't look at the cultural moment. It looks at children like they're an island that ends at the shore, and we're not on that island. And if there's all we need to do is send in enough stuff. We give enough attention, enough effort, enough empathy, enough tutors. And if that doesn't fail, enough medication, and that island will operate well on its own. Yeah. Wrong. It's just a deep, deep misconception of what child development has anything. So child development, if you look at it, is really an interactive experience. And if you want to find out what mental health is, you don't look inside the child and that you can test in a room of a neurologist. You look at the actions between them and other people and how those are navigated. So that means your child giving you attention and effort and consideration is just as important as you giving it to them for them to develop these skills. Yeah. And furthermore, there's an emotional crisis that takes place that people don't talk about, that happens between toddler and age 4. Right now, it probably goes till age 40, but that there's a testing that children are trying to resolve, and they're asking a question. Who are you? What are the rules? Who's got power? And if the answer to that is, I'm just here to serve you, and you have all the power, that's a chaotic, anxiety-producing state that the child is going to have a hard time getting out of. And eventually they're going to look to other peers who have the same lack of regulation for their guidance. And they're going to care more about what the 7-year-old bully thinks of them at school than mom or dad or the teacher. Because
it's such a weird, because if you look at social media, everyone's calling everybody a narcissist. And at some point, they can't be. But maybe what we are doing is producing these self-important narcissists that don't know how to act in the world. And that's not good for them or society or their interactions with anybody else. So it's like, I just don't, I get it. I love my kids too. But this idea that they're the center of the universe, well, maybe to me, but you have to realize not to everybody else, and you have to prepare them for that.
Right. Yeah. And I think the crazy thing is it's no fun. It sucks being the center of the universe. These kids aren't happy, it's all protecting them from, if we were all given the opportunity to just sit around and have somebody serve us margaritas and massage our feet for the rest of our life, we would probably take it. And about a weekend, we'd go, this sucks. I need to do something. I could use a walk, or I'd like to, is there something I can build, or something I can clean, or somebody I can help? Because real satisfaction isn't there. There's a very materialistic view of consumption. If I just consume and just let my child be live in Disneyland every day and be happy, they'll be happy. They won't.
Yeah.
It's
No.
a back and forth.
And I got to save this for somebody who wrote a book about religion, but it's weird. Like our view of heaven is sit around on a cloud. That's going to get boring really quickly. Like what makes humans happy is the pursuit of something, getting over obstacles, achieving, failing. Like that's what feeds us. But even that we sort of forget when we're raising our children. And that's goddamn weird. The other thing I want to say too, is like when you worship your child, I think, and I don't know this to be true, they must not see you as a three-dimensional character. Like you were just there to serve them. I want my kids to understand that I have lives, I have friends, I have a drinking problem. They need to see who their father is in totality to recognize that I'm a human with my own thoughts, needs, emotions, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. And when a child's able to turn you into a phantom, if your 5-year-old can come over and hit you when they're mad because you told them to clean their things up, or you turned off the TV, or you took away the iPad, or you told them it's time to leave the park, if they can come over and hit you and all you do is, talk to them about their feelings, you become a phantom person.